We're live, folks. Indoors. It's getting cold outside. It is. It's getting cold. It's chilly. Finally. But we're going to get Reverend Mama in here. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, there he is. Let's get him in there. Welcome, everybody. Where is Emmanuel? There he is, right? Oh, look at him. He's all he's all bundled up, folks.
Yes, sir. What's up, Pete?
How are you?
I'm
Good to
good.
see you.
Let's get the technical stuff out of the way.
I know. You get the little Fu Manchu thing going here. You know, look at that.
Yeah, I do. A little bit.
Yep. Nope. We got to get you hooked in. Nope. How's that?
Are we connected?
Yeah, it's a little choppy. So
Choppy.
choppy. All right, here we
Choppy.
go.
Yeah, we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
We'll work it out as we always do. You were brave enough, and you're obviously tailgating for the Patriots game. I should be myself, but I'm not. It's a little chilly. So I took it indoors this time. So I'm in my den.
Okay, nice.
Yes, yes. So, and we go back to Lodi, and as you and me seem to be history kind of buffs here, I think we have a lot more to add about Lodi here. I learned a few little interesting tidbits. So, for everybody who hadn't joined us last week, we visited Lodi and we talked about more reds. We didn't really go into Zinfandels. We went into different kinds of reds that Lodi offers. And now we're going to Lodi's strength, which is Zinfandel. So really brief.
That's right.
Yes, right. And so really brief, I'm going to do a really quick intro. I am Pete. I am founder of Great American Nosh and some other Nosh entities where our tagline is Eat, Drink, Savor. We focus on food, beer, and wine, education, and appreciation. And this programming is about wine, appreciation, and education. We usually cover 3 topics. That's why it's called Wine and Three. But we always geek out a little bit, as Emmanuel is always prone to do, and me as well. And with me is Emmanuel Montevecchi, and he is my wine guy at Total Wine and Campers. Welcome, Emmanuel.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
Good to see
And
you.
Emmanuel, every 2 weeks, he picks out some interesting wines for us to try. And we have an interesting string going on here because we did visit Lodi last week, or 2 weeks ago. And now we go into Zinfandels, which is Lodi is known for. So I'm going to jump into this a little bit on Lodi. Lodi, if no one knows anything about Lodi, it's about 100 miles east of San Francisco. It's bordered by Sacramento to the north, Stockton to the south. There's about 9 AVAs in that area now, 2 actually called Lodi. There's 7 rivers flowing in and out of that region. So that's obviously the great, interesting aquifer that they have there and a variety of soils. So obviously they grow a lot of different things, but really they're known for the Zinfandels. And the other thing is 2/3 of what they have planted are red. There's over 80 plus wineries. There's over 100,000, I believe, acres of wines, 100,000 acres, which is double what Napa has. And they get about 17 inches of rainfall a year, most of it in winter, which is really very good for the vines. 1850s is when this region really kind of started during the gold rush. A gentleman by name Charles Weber, who was the founder of Stockton, California, and then followed by another gentleman from Boston, which is always good to hear, George West. But back then it was mostly just the Takai. Emmanuel's going to talk a little bit more about all this. The other thing that I've learned about Lodi is they're home to Sutter Home, home to Woodbridge. Very large brands, not really known for their quality, more for their quantity, but still, they did put Lodi on the map. And the other thing that I learned, and I know I'm gonna have Emmanuel have the floor soon because don't worry, I'm gonna let him talk. Is Robert Mondavi went to Lodi High School,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
that's right. He went to Lodi High School, and then he convinced his dad back in 1940s or something to buy Charles Krug Winery, and I think it was in Napa. And then he eventually launched his Robert Mondavi Winery in 1966. But he is the founder of Woodbridge. So there's definitely a Lodi connection between Robert Mondavi and obviously Lodi. So I find that really fascinating. But now Emmanuel is going to add a few things that I probably didn't even cover.
All right, Pete. No, that was a great little summarization of the region we're discussing, Lodi, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, segueing to Mondavi,
Mm-hmm.
which is considered basically the grand, we'll call him the grandfather of wines coming through Napa. He basically put Napa on the map in California, so that his name is synonymous with Napa. But we're going to feature these two wines. Once again, Zinfandels from
Yes.
Lodi. Now this one here, that is
Mm-hmm.
another Michael David product.
That's
And
right.
that's right. So Michael David is a heavy hitter in Lodi. And
Yes.
if the show we did a couple weeks ago, we featured Freak Show, which is his
Yes.
Cabernet. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll get into the seven deadly Zins in a little while. But as far as Lodi is concerned, I think Lodi is underestimated. Napa's always, in the forefront. And then you'll have like Sonoma,
Yeah.
Alexander Valley, Rutherford.
Yeah.
Those are big names. But Lodi, actually, they assist in giving a lot of grapes to different areas around them in California,
Yeah,
including
they're
those
grape
areas.
growers. They're grape. They're known as grape growers, really,
Right,
right?
exactly. And they've been kind of underestimated for that, because they're not respected as much, because the cabs don't really their cabs are not really that recognized as other cabs from the areas that I just mentioned. But the Zinfandels, if anyone's interested in Zinfandels, Lodi is basically where it's at. That there's
Yeah.
no other. They're at the top. They're at the top of the
Yeah.
heap.
So, and here's another interesting tidbit: is because of that craze of the white Zinfandel many years ago. um,
Sutter Home.
Obviously, Lodi benefited from that craze, the white Zinfandel craze. But unfortunately, the double-edged sword to that is that they also took a hit in terms of their perception of quality, because they were like, "Oh, you did the white Zinfandel thing, you guys must suck." It's like, no, we just, we were part of the grapes, and obviously we benefit economically, but obviously from a PR thing, they didn't, uh, they weren't really looked upon really favorably. I think is probably the right term for that, right?
Sure,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
And so going back to Lodi, just discussing Lodi, Pete, right?
yeah.
So is actually really known for manufacturing as well. I
Mm-hmm.
was digging into this, and they have, let's see, I had to write some of this down because Kubota, which is a a
Yeah,
manufacturer of various construction,
yeah.
machinery, as well as they're known for like a dark container
Mm-hmm.
manufacturer, uh, as well as what happens with Lodi is it's kind of there's a real buy-in with the residents of Lodi. Like a lot of the streets have interesting names that are a play on the word from Lodi. Now Lodi, I mentioned a couple weeks ago, was the territory in Italy, the area in Italy that Napoleon had conquered, the first territory in that area of Italy that he conquered.
Okay.
Also, Lodi has a Creedence Clearwater Revival has a song that's called Lodi,
Yep.
where it's
Right.
actually yeah, it's about Lodi, California,
Hmm.
as well as there's a lot of there's a lot of cult wines that come out of Lodi. For example, you have Bedrock, which is well
Yeah.
respected. Bedrock
Yeah.
makes really great zins, and you have
Hmm.
Turley. Turley is there's a great cult following around Turley. Now, Helen Turley is a superior female winemaker. It's hard to
Okay.
find some of her wines, Turley, because
Yeah.
they can be very high end. But those two
Mhm.
names are, I mean, well respected and highly regarded in the wine world. Um,
Okay. But
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
the more I research, the more I realize how stupid I am. Like,
No. I
I
mean,
didn't
it's just
realize
there's so much there. There's so much there.
there's
It's
so
not about
much
stupid.
there.
It's just about
I
being,
mean, we're
a
gonna,
little ignorant.
yeah, we're gonna go in. Yeah, ignorant is probably the right word, and most people think ignorance is stupidity, but it's really not stupidity. It's just I just don't know about it. It's just But we're going to get into Michael David in a minute. But I just want to show a few things to our viewers here. So Lodi,
There you go.
see that is like right there, right? So obviously it's huge. And then the other thing is because we're talking about Zinfandel, these vines are over 100 years old. And the
Okay.
one that seems to be prevalent is this guy who's called Old Man Walking, and you could see
Oh yeah.
how thick and gnarly that thing is. There's probably maybe what 3 or 4, maybe 5 clusters on that thing. There's not really many for not much for yield, but that's why the grapes, the Zinfandel taste the way it does, is because of that yield. Anyway, so we talked a lot about Lodi. I think we're going to shift gears and to talk a little bit about the wines. Now, the reason why I think Emmanuel picked the 7 deadly zins here, the one we got here, is because of that Michael David connection that we had 2 weeks ago when
That's
we
right.
were
Yep.
focusing on Freak Show.
Right.
And again, when I go viewing into Michael David, I didn't realize like how much I didn't know about Michael David, but that wine in particular has sold on an annual basis. They produce 300,000 cases
Oh yeah.
of that wine.
Oh yeah.
It has been rated #1 Zinfandel in the United States for the last 4 years. It is amazing on how successful they did, and on top of that, um, they sold that brand last year. They sold it to the Wine Group. It's a big consortium out of Livermore, California. I think they hold what is it, Cupcake and some other ones. Franzia is another one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Big,
They're a big,
yeah,
conglomerate.
yeah. They're a big
Food.
conglomerate like Constellation Wine Group and some other folks.
Yes.
And I think I saw some interviews with Michael and David. There's 2 brothers basically. Michael and David Phillips is really the family name of that winery. They started the Seven Zins in 2002. It's really a blend of 7 Zinfandel vineyard locations. They're very
Now,
known for their grape. Yeah,
sorry, and then we're looking at some Petite Syrah as well.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So I think the last information I could gather is that it's 80% Zin, and then the next piece is Petite Syrah is next
Hmm.
to the blend, and then they have some other grapes as well. And they're known for the boisterous approach. They have some very dramatic names for all their other wines. They're in their 6th generation at this point. They've been around for 150 years. Um, obviously they're doing very well. Um, so that's the Michael David. I don't know if you wanted to add something to that, Emmanuel, that I cover for Michael David.
Oh well, so with what Pete and I do, we always try to get away from that label biases. That's really a focal point for us. Uh, so Michael David is kind of a huge departure for that, but we're having a little fun these days. We're having a little fun. But
Yeah.
Michael David, that's sort of what he with the labeling with Freak Show. It's a play on Barnum and Bailey with the circus, all those
Yeah.
aspects in that label that we showed last 2 weeks ago. And then with this wine, the Seven Deadly Zins, this label's a little different from previous vintage. The
That's
other
right.
one, the other label has, you know, the sins, you know, represented on the label. So it has a list, you know, gluttony, sloth,
Sloth.
and
Sloth is my favorite.
is
I
that
like
right?
sloth.
You like that
Sloth.
speed? You like that speed? Yeah,
Sloth.
yeah.
Envy. I don't know how many people are not envious. I mean, I don't. And wrath. Okay, we get bothered.
Yeah, well, I think that's you know, Western psych, you know, Western philosophy.
Yes, yes. So vanity is another one.
Yes.
Gluttony, lust, and greed. I think are just to round out the seven. That's quite a lineup. So that's a great pick. I'm actually I have had tried this wine, but I haven't tried in a long time. You know, just
Oh,
there's
okay.
just there's just so many. Again, there's just been so many wines I've tasted since I've had this one. So for me, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But
Oh, very good, Pete.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
no,
have
I'm
not had it. I have not had it
yeah.
yet.
Well, the thing is,
So
I never realized how substantial Michael David was. You don't, because if you're not into this every day and you don't, is this not as your preferred profession, you're not going to know this. You're not going to know how many wines they have, how much they produce, who's
that's
what,
right.
you know, exactly, and who Michael David is really. So anyway, I'm going to jump into the next one, which you were kind enough to pick out, which is a really fascinating one. We got Plunger Head here. They changed a label on this one. You and I are going to
They
talk
did.
about labels a little bit later here, but they changed a label on this not too long ago. Um, and on this one, I had a little bit of a harder time trying to figure out who was who. But I
I
heard
did.
that
I did as well. I did as well. Yeah.
it was really tough. They're, I guess they're produced by the Three Badge Brewery Corporation, or the other guys, as that used to be called. It's really a fourth generation family at this point. August Sebastiani. They're kind of well known in the Sonoma region as really firefighters. It was started in 1904 by Samuel, the patriarch of the family. And I guess the joke is that the character on the label is Edgar Plungerhide, and they just decided, because the name got screwed up all the time, he just changed it to Plungerhead. And one of their taglines, I like taglines, right? So taglines, it's wines of character for characters.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I like that one a lot. Yeah, exactly.
and that's all I could find. Their website was not worked down. It was
Yeah,
completely
I
down.
know. I know. Yeah.
Everything got funneled into their website, and it was just down. And I was really struggling to find it out. And you know, the Sebastiani family is really well respected and obviously well connected in Sonoma. They had a lot of ins and outs with, you know, some buildings and some firehouses and stuff like that. So very fascinating. And the fact that they are in Sonoma, not Lodi, and obviously source the grapes from Lodi is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of the nature of the industry. You know, there's going to be vinification and storage facilities outside of that wine growing region where they make all this stuff. So, and then for our followers, let just give some insight on why you picked these two, because there's over 150 Zinfandels from my search that alone. You know, some may be on the lower end, some are on the higher end, some in the middle. Tell me why you picked these two.
All right. Well, so for me, what I'm exposed to, you know, at my place at work, I don't. There's not, you know, there's probably about maybe 35 Zinfandels. Now, this one, you know, I obviously made the connection with the Michael David Freak Show that we did 2 weeks ago. So I
Yeah.
thought, you know, it would be the right thing to do because, I mean, Michael and David, the two brothers,
Yeah.
you know, well respected, well known for their Zinfandels. So I thought, hey,
Hmm.
we have to do this Seven Deadly Sins, and I thought it was a cool label. The plunger head, I've been hearing really good things about for a while,
Yeah.
and I kind of
All
I kind
right.
of dig I kind of dig the label. I dig the
Yeah.
label. It's kind of silly and goofy, and
It
so
is goofy,
you know,
but it's got this embossed thing going on, so it's kind of neat.
it,
I
yeah,
kind of like that too.
yeah. And then I heard there was I think it could have been. Let's see. These are 2017s
Yeah,
vintage. I believe the 2016 they had a wax. It was a wax top to
that's
the
right.
plunger head.
Yeah.
Um, and they also had like a Monty Python connection. I read something
Um,
about that quick. I think it was on the actual the wax the the top of the neck of the bottle. So there was
yeah.
that connection too.
Yeah.
But I just thought they'd be kind of fun wines, and the Seven Deadly Sins actually it brings a lot forward as far as the alcohol. This is 15%.
They're both 15%. I
Yeah,
noticed that.
right, right, exactly. Yeah, they're both 15%. Which Zinfandels, if
Mhm.
if folks you want to know this, is Zinfandels usually carry the most alcohol, unless it's a fortified wine, and then we're talking like 15 and a half, 16%, and then you get into like ports and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Zinfandels, if you like a nice heavy, some of these can be jammy, some of these can be peppery,
Hmm.
where you want a lot of alcohol. Zinfandel
Hmm.
is really your varietal.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. All right. Well, I think we need to go diving into these wines. What you think?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right. Well, I'm going to do with the Zins first. Let's do the Zins. Um, I know these were very bold and aggressive. As soon as I aerated it, I could smell it. Um, here we go. I call that kind of a dark, almost a ruby at this point, but I can't tell. My lighting isn't the best here, but
I'm sorry.
definitely.
I'm sorry. Are we doing the Michael David?
Yeah, the Zins. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
the,
thought. All
yeah,
right,
the
Pete.
Zins. All
Yeah.
right, so let's do that. I can swirl without spill. I try to swirl without. I got these new tulip glasses with these really thin stems, and it's a
You
little
got a cool
tough.
glass there, Pete. I like that glass.
Yeah, you like those? La Crusade, basically. Um,
Mm. Real sophisticated.
all right, I'll take that. That's fine. Um, well, the jammy,
Yeah, Jamie for sure. A lot of fruit on the nose.
lot of fruit. I mean,
Yeah, this thing is like flowing with it.
this is loaded, fluttering with fruit. I mean, this has got so much aroma coming out of this glass.
Oh yeah, it does.
Oh my goodness. Very inviting. Um, folks, I mean, this is like the number one selling Zinfandel in the world, so you can see why. Um, and for the price, what was this, $10? I mean,
Yeah, sure. Money. I mean, we're talking under $13
yeah,
for
I
both.
mean, come
Each of them. The price point's really good. And that's what we look at.
on.
That's what we look at, folks. We look
Yeah,
at the price points. We want to do we want to do quality.
yep,
Because price doesn't always dictate quality.
that's right. Exactly. And that's what Emmanuel and I are all about. We're removing label bias, price bias. I think we have a tendency to frown on anything that's below $25. Not he and I. He and I have found some fantastic wines for under $25 that are, it's going to fit your budget, and really they're going to be decent wines. Again, there's going to be some not necessarily, favorable qualities with all these wines. We understand that. Some may have a lack of a finish, lack of aroma, maybe off-putting in the aroma, but overall, they're actually not. They're decent wines. Some really have blown us away for what they are, and we call those wine values. Really, it's really solid.
That's right.
Um, yeah, I'm getting. It's not like an intense raspberry, but it's more of a, oh, No, it's like a subtle. How do you say a subtle raspberry? I don't even know what a subtle raspberry is, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the subtle raspberry. I know
yeah,
what a supercharged raspberry is, cassis.
yeah.
But we get that
Cassis.
cassis thing going on, but that's not here. We don't have that. We don't have that at this
No.
point.
Yeah. I get a little oak. Definitely some oak here. Smell the oak here.
Yeah, for sure.
Some oak, assertive oak. I don't have a lot of spice here on the nose. I don't have like a lot of earth tones here going on either. So it's really a lot of fruit. Really, it's all about the fruit.
It
Um,
is absolutely. So
all
those of
right.
you who like that's the style of a wine that offers a lot of fruit on the nose, like immediately. This could be something that you might be able to get into.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you really enjoy the aromas coming into a wine, I think these are very attractive. All right, I'm going to take a dive in here. So,
All right, there you go.
mm, yeah, the
Definitely
alcohol.
peppery. It's peppery.
Oh, yeah, you got that spice. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
whoa. It's like licking the bottom of a pepper mill. Even though I don't do that, by the way, folks.
No,
Um,
why would you?
um, it's definitely peppery. Um, but the finish is there. It's it's a lingering finish. It didn't drop off like some other wines that you and I have tried.
That's right. No, yeah, there's a finish there. I don't know. I don't know. This a lot of fruit, like we said, good on the nose. Um, definitely got a good amount of body to it. You
Yeah,
know,
like a medium. I think a medium body, not heavy body, but medium body.
yeah, yeah, I'd agree with
Medium
that.
to heavy. It's kind of like a medium to heavy body, actually, almost. It's um, not much for tannins.
No, no, no
Um,
tannins. So those of you guys who don't like the tannins, well, this could be once again another wine for you.
that's right,
The
exactly. It's a good tip. I mean,
Seven
folks.
Deadly Zins.
Yep, some folks who are really have an issue with tannins and that puckering, that mouth puckering tannin thing with red wines. I think you're going to enjoy this. Mm. Well, that peppery thing is still there, huh?
Yeah,
Woo.
that peppery nuance comes out. It continues.
Yeah, yeah, it continues. That finish is still there. I This is a really good wine. I think with food this would go really well. I mean, I'm thinking just straight up. Let's not mess around. Steak, just the steak would just match
Oh,
really well with
oh,
this.
definitely, definitely.
Solid beef.
What do you think?
Uh,
A ribeye, or what are we talking?
like a big beefy porterhouse.
Porterhouse. Okay.
Porterhouse. Because I think with a ribeye there's more fat content, and then
Yeah. Right.
I think
Right.
you need more acidity to kind of cut through that fat.
Right.
Porterhouse is definitely obviously there's two sides of the porterhouse, but really I think you're going to get that nice tenderloin side where there's not a lot of fat. Got that beef. I think that's going to match really well with that. Ribeye, I think
Okay.
you need something a little more. I think you need a little bit more acidic. Something, this would. I don't know if it would quite work.
No, that makes
But
sense.
again,
That makes sense, Pete.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I love it.
this is good.
Extrapolating on the culinary aspect right there. I mean, we don't usually get a chance to do that.
No, I don't. I don't. I try to pair these wines just on schedule and everything, but I always have to think about where would this go? I mean, where would this fit? There's two, as you know, there's two ways to approach wine pairings. One is to make sure the wine is as intense or intenser than the food that you're serving, or on the flip side, make it as contrasting as possible. You can't have any middle ground because if you have the middle ground, that's when the wine just dies. It just gets lost in translation. So,
So, what do you
all
think
right.
about for the vegans or the vegetarians out there? I
I
guess we
don't know.
can't.
Well, the
It's just
thing
wine.
is,
I mean, some of these wines are not vegan actually. So
yeah, I don't know. I think if you're adding a kind of a vegetal flavor to your palate, and with that Zinfandel, I guess depends on how you season it, I would imagine. The oil that you use, if you're going to saute, it's kind of hard to say.
Right.
Because
What about a
I'm usually I'm pairing off the protein, right? So for
right,
me, it's
right.
like that paired off. If I was serving asparagus or broccoli or a sautéed green, it kind of matters what spice I'm using with those greens because get that vegetable thing. But then if you are adding spice, if you're adding pepper, would it conflict? I don't know. I probably have to check it out.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
so, all right, let's roll to the plunger head because this one's got me intrigued. So,
It does it?
yes, it does. I am very intrigued just by the mystery of trying to find out any information about this wine. Um,
Right. The website was not functioning. I don't know. The
Not
website.
functioning, which got me mad because most of the stuff on the Google search pointed me to the website. I had to go through indirect ways to find any information I could. Again,
Yeah.
this kind of has the same color, same ruby color as the Zins. Oh, this is a little bit more elegant. Not as in your face with the fruit. Definitely.
Mm. It's this is the one we're tasting right now.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of I don't know, maybe a leather in this one, but
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
leather,
Yeah.
leather, a leather smell, which I know, folks, it's weird how we come up with these
No, but
descriptors, but
I definitely absolutely smell that as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's, for me, it's like that, like, folks, like a leather is sort of like it's like a fruit, but then you ratchet back that fruitiness and it turns into a sour smell, and you're like, it's almost like that oily tannin thing you got going on with leather, but no, not tobacco. I don't smell any tobacco here, but
Okay, so no like earthiness.
no, I don't have a lot of earth, but yeah, I'm still stuck on the leather. I can't get off of it. And as for the fruit, I mean, I would lean more to like a black cherry, like really deep, like a dark stone fruit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, dark fruit yeah, for sure, What do you think?
um,
Plum? Any
I
plum?
got a little, I got a little wisp of cinnamon there.
Cinnamon?
A little bit, a wisp, not a lot.
Okay. What about plum?
No clove.
No
No
plum?
plum? No plum?
What
Yeah,
do you think?
I would lean that way. That's a good descriptor for that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think plum would be more the accurate descriptor than what I would say a black cherry. Black cherry's got a little bit more of a lighter smell to it. So yeah, interesting. I mean, it's not as aggressive and in your face as the Zins there. This is
That's
this
for
is an
sure. Yeah.
interesting this is an interesting aroma. I give it to you on this one. This is a challenging one. We've had a few ones before, but this one definitely challenging in terms of like trying to describe to people what we're smelling here. And I know it may not be the greatest TV, but this is like the best part of wine, folks, is like before you even drink it, he and I are spending like, 2 or 3 minutes here trying to figure out, well, what is that smell?
It's an
Ooh,
experience,
okay.
you know what I mean? It's an experience,
Yeah.
and you want to make sure that you get all aspects, within an
Yeah,
experience of drinking a wine. I mean, it's
exactly. Yeah.
the olfactory. You want to make sure, you're getting that in. Give it some time, you know,
Yep. Yep.
as well as decanting the wines. I know, that's important.
Yes,
You know,
exactly. You're right. I would grab mine, but I would kick over my camera. So I
don't
did
do that.
aerate. I did. I only aerated for about 30 minutes. I felt like these wines were young enough and
Yeah,
bold
for
enough that
sure.
you could handle it. Yeah.
For sure.
Cabernet I would probably go deeper with, but all right, I'm going to go diving in here. So,
All right, Pete.
mmm, oh, oh, I like that. I like that one. I like this one. This the only issue is the finish is gone. It's not that lingering finish. I love it on the front, but on the back it goes away. But really on that front, it really gives me a lot. Um,
You like it that much, huh?
I believe this is less balanced. This is totally, there's an imbalance to this wine compared to the Zins. I mean, I think the Zins, it is as advertised. It's a really solid wine, great front, beginning, middle, and everything. It's good. I think on this front, when I get it in my mouth, I'm like, oh, they're really good, and then it disappears. But it's like there was so much up front that it didn't really matter on the back end. I guess.
Okay. All right.
What do you think? I mean, am I off? Am I like crazy here?
Well, it's not being about off. It's your palate. It's your, what you appreciate out of the wine. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's that's just
It's
me.
good.
I don't think. I guess maybe it's because of the Seven Deadly Sins. It really takes you on, and I really
Yeah.
like that about a
Yeah.
wine.
Yeah.
This one is not like that, where it gives you all that up front on the nose.
Yeah.
Because when you have that, I think when you have that on the nose and you have all those, that experience happening, your
Yep.
mind's already making putting things together, where it's like, where the wine might provide for a lot of fruit,
Yeah.
provide for a lot of body.
Yep.
It's going to be enjoyable. This one, I just think it's. Now, remember, Seven Deadly Sins was a bit of Petite Syrah as well, and you can taste the Petite Syrah. You
Yep.
can definitely
Okay.
taste that in the Seven Deadly Sins. This one could be all. Is it all Zinfandel? I mean, because
Well, there's I think probably the part that I liked was there's a zing of acidity here. Um, that I think this whole elegant up front, really good middle, and then I think the good middle really makes up for that lack of back end.
okay,
From my view,
yeah,
I do like it. I think that acidity got me. I think it was like, ooh, it's not like Chianti acidity, but it's just like a mild acidity that I think draws me in, and that's kind of why I said like initially, I'm like, oh, I like this.
no, I can appreciate that. That's what I don't like about it. I don't like the acidity.
Oh, you don't like acidity.
That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah, all right, all right.
Mm. But I mean,
See, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing I like about this. Yeah, well, no, that's what I like about this, Emmanuel, is that like folks need to understand like he and I have different palates. My wife and I have different palates. What's interesting with the Seven Deadly Sins is because it's such a big seller, is because it appeals to all of those palates. I mean, 300,000 cases a year of that wine is
it's big
impressive.
time. Yeah, it's big
That's
time.
big time. That means that's appealing to all these different palates. Now, this plunger head probably not even close. I mean, this is going to be more of a specialty, I think.
Right.
And
right.
because it appeals to me and it doesn't appeal to Emmanuel, that should tell you something. It should say, okay, well, it's going to be a crapshoot. If I serve this wine on my table, some people don't like it or just indifferent, and some people may enjoy it. Be like, okay, maybe people like the acidity, and Emmanuel doesn't like the acidity, so you're just gonna have to get that in mind. So it's like, it's actually I like that because I think people need to understand that, and I sometimes have to drill it in my head, like whatever I serve my wine, my wife might not hate it. Like, what are you serving that for? It sucks. I'm like, I like it. It's good. Or vice versa. She may love it and be like, it's okay.
Right now, looking into the gender thing, the male and the females, I mean, if we can put it, put this out there, I mean, females tend to have more taste buds than men, as it is,
Mm.
so that can
Yep.
change things, where there's things you don't taste that,
Yep.
Gail tastes, you know what I mean?
That's
So,
right. And I respect and I
yeah, so
respect
that
that.
might be why it's off-putting to her.
That's right. And I respect that. And I think people need to understand that is men and women, we take things differently. There's no way around it. I think we can't avoid it. It's not an uncomfortable conversation. It's like, listen, females pick up a lot different things than men have. There's obviously certain males are hypersensitive with their palate, but those people are rare. Most people are in the middle, and they're going to pick up stuff that you don't pick. And clearly, there's been a lot of times when my wife has just loved a wine, and I'm like, "Eh." And then on the flip side, same thing. It's just like, I love this wine, she hates it, but you have to work with it. So, and that's why there's other spirits on the table.
Yes, Gabrielle. Yes, Gabrielle. Did you see that? What she
Yeah,
put there? Yeah, we know. Okay, right. So biology is different. We get that.
I
Yeah,
agree. I agree.
not transgender.
I
That's
don't
true.
want to
Not
pound on the
transgender.
gender thing. I don't want to pound on the gender thing, but it's like the most convenient thing for like, I'm the male in the house, she's the female in the house. That's the two people that are drinking wine in the house. So it's like, I understand. Yes. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that.
Well, yeah. No, it's relative. Absolutely. It's relative. To the family, to the dynamics that exist. I mean,
Yep.
for example, with Nolden, our friend Nolden,
Yeah.
he's got above and I consult with him from time to time. He's very well versed in old world. And he's got like 52 taste buds. So the average person has about 25.
Yeah. And I think I have 12. So,
Well,
but that's right. I'm learning. The whole idea is that we, as wine drinkers and as we age, we are supposed to like learn by tasting. We learn by trying all these different wines, and you're never perfect. You're not going to be, a wine critic. I just forget it. Like you're going to be in the rare air if you can be a wine critic. I think it's like I focus on like, do you like the wine? You don't like the wine? Does it go well with the meal or it doesn't? And if you could save money doing it, so be it. That's
that's
the
right.
whole idea.
That's right. I mean, when it comes to it, I mean, that's what wine is meant to be enjoyed and discussed. And it's great when you
Yes.
can compare it, do a nice little matchup with a great food,
Yeah.
or like a charcutier kind of thing. That's
Sure.
absolutely. But some wine, can just drink on its own. I did want to say though, to put this piece in with the seven deadly zins, right?
Yeah.
What's going on in Lodi is they're big on sustainability. This is
Oh yeah.
something that they really have put a lot of heart and soul into it, and so
Hmm.
they have it. You can see it on the label if you pick this wine up, and it tells
Yeah.
you right here on the back.
Yep.
See the Lodi rules.
Yeah. That's right. The Lodi rules. Yep.
So those are rules that they came up with. Now they had a bunch of volunteers, and they have about 7. From what I researched, they have about 7 staff that are involved in this organization, and so they set up ways to help other vineyards and farmers to continue with sustainability. So that's very important, and I think it's very we need to really look at that. At some
Yeah.
point, maybe we'll get into biodynamic wines because that's a big topic and a big area of winemaking, but that's for another
Sure.
time. So this Lodi rules things I think is really is something that's it's really essential to
Yeah.
winemaking here in this country.
True. And in Lodi, there's only a small percentage of those wineries that actually are certified for Lodi
That's right.
rules. And I don't know, there was like 5 to 7 different areas where they'd have to be certified, from integrated pest management to soil management to sustainability.
Exactly.
there's a lot of different things, and it makes a lot of sense. I think that's a very great thing for them to do, given where they are in California. Obviously, the challenges with the aquifer. Obviously, they're competing with food crops and livestock and all the other stuff that goes with it. They didn't want to obviously damage the environment they're in. So, pardon the barking dogs, but we are live.
Wait, didn't we have this character come up before in one of the previous episodes?
Yes. And unfortunately, I'm
there?
inside where I can't control the barking dogs, but it's fine. Anyway, so thankfully, I have a helper that is going to shuffle the dogs out of the house.
It's great to have an assistant. There you go.
Yes, that's sustainability.
something like that. So I think that, I mean, especially recapping what Pete and I just kind of went through. We featured these two Zins.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
The 7 deadly Zins, Lodi is being featured.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the plunger head, which has got a silly, label on it.
Yes. And so I think we're gonna probably move into our geek session a little bit. So obviously, Emmanuel and I, we really focus on label bias a lot because I think that's what prevents a lot of people from discovering wine. And I think a lot of people just grab what is really attractive on the shelf. So you look at these two wines and this one's got an interesting label. It's got that kind of glossy Z. This is kind of a goofy label. All right, so what? You know what? And I think the bottles are kind of both the same size, same shoulder level. We talk about punts a lot here. This is those little indentations at the bottom of the bottle.
Right.
They're both kind of the same. And, I think, for sub $20 a bottle for both of these wines, I think, which one would you grab? Would you grab the goofy one or would you grab this one? I think I would grab this one. I think there's an interesting a lot of thing I noticed on the bottom is like sort of that burnt label thing. I don't know if you noticed that on the bottom.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like someone took a cigarette or a lighter and just charred the bottom of the label, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of
a cool effect.
And I love how they have the little halo, the halo above the Z, which is kind of sacrilege if you ask me. But
that's the play there. That's what they're playing on, right? Because they're playing. They went to Catholic school. The two brothers, it's Michael and David.
Yeah,
they went to Catholic school, right? And so that was kind of like what they were discussing with the 7 deadly Zins.
Yeah,
they got into,
exactly.
That's the play on words, but then getting into, they actually have other wines, right?
They have a ton of other
wine. One's called Gluttony. There's one wine they have is called Rapture as well.
Rapture is the other one. They have
a few other ones.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them where Earthquake.
Earthquake.
I think for those wines, those are more, I guess, reserve wines. So they take the best grapes of any vineyard and then make certain wines with those. So
that's right. That's
very fascinating. Again, I give them kudos. It's just a very impressive operation that they have over there. Obviously, they're doing very well, and they decided that they wanted to focus on their other wines, and that's why they sold, this the Zins label.
That's right.
So I hope that wine doesn't turn different, but maybe I don't know who the winemaker is going to be on that. They never really tell you what happens when these big wine groups buy these vineyards and what happens. Hopefully the quality doesn't dip, or I don't know if they'll change a blend or anything like that. I just don't know. So
that's right. But you preferred the plunger head, so.
Well, I didn't know. Wait a minute.
Oh, you didn't say prefer. You said you liked it a lot, huh? Okay, I take that back.
I liked it.
I retract that.
I preferred it. I just said,
I misspoke.
I just was because it was interesting that the nose wasn't as overwhelming as the Zins.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was on attack. I wasn't under attack, from the get-go, right? So for me, it was like I wasn't under attack. The middle was a nice lead up, and then the end wasn't there, which was fine. The middle was so nice to me. But I guess I'm gonna have to do this. So let's try this out. All right. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do
Okay.
my Zins. Let's see what we got. That Roma's. Oh, my wife is gonna love this. She's gonna love this one. So.
Gail, get excited. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gabrielle's stating she's going to set it up with her vegan chili tonight.
Vegan chili. Now that's what I want to hear her feedback on that.
Oh,
Again, this is a very balanced wine. I like it. I do like it. All right. Now let's go to our other one, the plunger head. Yeah, the nose is just not, you're not punching you in the face like the other one. So. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna have to go with the Zins. It's not by much, but the Zins
not
is
by
good.
much?
Not by much. I think, like I said, I think I'm gonna stick my flag in the ground and say, I think the middle really makes up for that whole wine. I think there was definitely a story in that middle with the acidity, and I think it was well rounded. I think the body was a little lighter than the Zins. The back end just wasn't there, but that's fine. I think the middle made up for that. But I think the Zins overall is a better wine. Front, middle, back, both have the same alcohol, so you don't need to. Those wipe each other out. So,
Right.
I think the Zins is a better wine. I really do. I think it's a really good wine. I think obviously it appeals to everybody. So I'm not like.
Right, which makes sense. It fits. It fits the trend there.
It does fit the trend. Yeah.
Some people might appreciate plunger head. The acidity piece I think might be attractive to some people.
Well, that's what I think. I think again, my palate's different, but the acidity I think was so attractive to me. It wasn't in your face acidity. It was just a little twinge, where I'm like, ooh, okay, I like it. But I think that Zins is just a well-rounded wine, well balanced. I mean, it's $10. I mean, come on. How can you go wrong with that one? It's like, it's good. It's good. It's really good.
Absolutely. And the thing, once again, folks, bang for your buck. The Zinfandels. Higher alcohol. Higher alcohol.
Yeah. Higher alcohol. It's going to match really well with beef and pork. It's not there's no tannins.
Right.
Cabernet has all those tannins, and it's just some people they don't like that mouth puckering, like in your face tannins, and the Zinfandel is the right avenue to go down. If you love red wine, you don't want the tannins. The acidity is not like a Chianti or anything like that, so I think that's a really good wine to go down. Like I said, from the beginning, I felt like steak. A porterhouse steak, perfect. You don't have to worry about.
Right. You said that. Yep.
Contrasting the fat of a ribeye or of a fattier cut of steak. Pork, maybe a loin roast would be really well with this. It might be a little too much, but who knows? Who knows? Again, depends on the palate. So, and your buddy Josh, right?
You got
said you could plunger head there. That's interesting. You started doing it with plunger head. You noticed to change the label too. I would imagine too. So
yeah, well, yeah, right. I'd imagine. Yeah, so yeah, he likes that plunger. Yeah, he likes the plunger head. Now the plunger head sells fairly well. That's been what I've been dealing with for, since I started working with wine.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've explored it. So here it is. But I think that yeah, they both can be good for characteristics that they have.
Mhm.
And but the Seven Deadly Sins, I think, has just more to offer. Like you say, I think the mass of wine drinkers, it's
Yeah.
it's more attractive to
Yeah.
many more wine drinkers.
Yeah, we I don't want to get into statistics, but everybody knows there's this thing called the bell curve, right? So that, the most of
Right.
any population is sort of this curve in the middle, and then you got the outliers, and the people in the middle, that's where a lot of the winemakers for certain wines obviously want to focus on. And I think obviously Michael David hit it out of the park with that, and obviously they got an exit from that when they got, they sold brand, but that wine hits it all. I mean, really, it hits a lot of those people in the middle of the bell curve, for what they want in a Zinfandel. And Lodi is known for Zinfandel, and this is their strength. So you got to focus on pushing on your strength, and that's the strength.
That's
Good
right.
choice. I mean, well, I have to give you credit again. You're doing
Thank you.
well. I love this.
Thank you.
I don't know what I'm going to do for next week. What can we opine for next week? I mean,
Oh well,
it's
my wheels are turning a little bit. My wheels are turning. I mean, we get into some blends. Blends are pretty popular. That pocket of varietal is pretty popular. Maybe get into some
yeah.
blends. Yeah,
Why not?
maybe try that out. Well, what do you think?
Why not?
You want to stick with we could do Malbec. Let's do Malbec. Let's do Malbec because that's near and dear to me. Let's do Malbec.
Why not? Let's stay near your wheelhouse, and I think everyone would benefit from hearing your expertise in the Malbecs, because I think a lot of people kind of ignore Malbecs a little bit. My wife and I have been, pounding the Mysterios of late. So, oh, it's like,
I got a new one. I got a new one to put out there.
all right, good. Well, all right. How about we do this, folks? We're gonna 2 weeks from now, we're gonna focus on Malbec, and because of Manuel's heritage, I think we're gonna find some wonderful wine to drink.
Yeah,
So
I think yeah,
as we
absolutely.
wrap this up,
I'm excited.
yep,
And Kelly
yeah.
joined. I don't know if Kevin's there. They just joined.
Oh,
My friends
oh,
there. Yeah. So we went over these
yeah,
wines quickly.
yeah.
These are the two wines we did.
Yeah, where are they? Okay, here we go. Yep, we did the Plunger Head Old Vine, and we did the Seven Deadly Zins, the top-selling Zinfandel in the United States. 300,000 cases are made annually. They're not doing that because they suck. It's a good wine. So, yeah, they are both there.
Oh, all right.
So,
Well, there we go.
yeah, and so
Very
folks
nice.
who have joined late, just to let you know, we will have this broadcast up on our stories for 24 hours. And I will also download this to my YouTube channel, Great American Nosh. That will stay there as long as I want it to stay there. So
That's right.
thanks for joining us. And I will say salute to you and salute to everybody who has joined us today. Eat, drink, savor.
Good evening.
So yes, good evening. I don't know
Go
what, here
Pats.
we
Go Pats.
Yeah,